Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier podcast, but it is Pro Wrestling Weekly. It's Wednesday. We're here. We're live. I'm joined by the panel, as always. The four horsemen are here. Let's do this. Bren, Sean, and Sean. Plenty to talk about tonight. We've got Slammiversary. We've got Raw. We're on the road to SummerSlam. We're going to be talking about a number of other news articles as well. But of course, we're going to be dedicating a decent slice of the show as well to the man who passed away, the legend, the king of rock and heavy metal and all that kind of music and all, one Ozzy Osbourne, who sadly passed away yesterday at the age of 76. After that fantastic gig there, which I believe raised 190 million for charities, which is unbelievable amount of money. Wow, what a send off and what a way to go. So our thoughts and prayers, and of course, go out to the Osbourne family and the greater rock community and all the rest of it and all. This man was such a huge influence, a Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, as well as the rock and roll one as well. Such an influence on people's lives down through the years, stuff like that. And his legacy is enshrined there. And I'm sure he's up there now making music with Lemmy and everyone else who went before him. So we will talk about Ozzy. No doubt about it, and obviously the impact he had on wrestling and everything else, and I'm sure Sean will talk about from a music point of view and everything else and all. But what we will do is we'll start with Slammiversary and we'll get into it, and then we'll dedicate some time to it. So let's kick it off. Sean Mack, kick us off from the bottom to the top there. Let's go. Slammiversary.
The bottom to the top.
Yeah.
No, would have done Cedric and must have to start. But if
no,
that's
what I mean. That's the bottom of the card. That's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was at a gig last night. I've had a lot of sleep, but you wouldn't know it by the way I'm acting. Apologies. Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, great opener for the show. Mustafa Ali is a really, really good chicken shit heel. He has such a Napoleon complex above everyone. I loved how he was flanked by security, and not one of them caught him when he did the dive. Now, Mustafa Ali has come out and said that was his fault. I think he slipped or something. He went too fast and he slipped just before he left, so he went a bit further than he had anticipated him going. But no, thankfully he was okay, and the match was really, really good. Great to see Cedric Alexander. I think we all anticipated he was going to show up in AEW with the Hurt Syndicate. But I think he's very good here, especially when he's blending in with talents such as Mustafa Ali. But a great opener for the show. If only we had the same enthusiasm by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't overly disappointed in it, to be honest. Like I kind of like, maybe we'll get on to talk about AJ Styles, obviously, because it was on the thumbnail and stuff like that. Now, Brad, NXT's Dark State versus Cardona and the System. Great to see the System back in there.
Good to see the System back in there. Cardona, to be honest, I was thinking about this. I have a real issue with Cardona overall, and it's the same issue I have with Bubba Ray Dudley, which I'll touch on now in a little bit. Oh my lord, there we go. Sorry, that's a comment from Rosie and Connor, I think. There we go. Two biggest supporters are watching, Rosie and Connor. Fantastic stuff, and I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, look, look, it was a bit chaotic, this match. It was cool, but for me, it was. Yeah, it was exactly that. Sorry, that comment's after knocking me off. The match was chaotic. It was what it needed to be. It was a good match. And for me, I was a bit more enthusiastic towards the end, to be honest with you. I have a couple of gripes with it, and I'm not sure what the crack is with NXT, TNA, and how TNA is with NXT and so on. There's a bit. It's a bit strange. But yeah, no, look, this match was good. It's exactly what it says. It says in the tin, chaotic and good. Can I just bring up a couple of issues that I have with this, the pay-per-view as a whole? I don't want to go in order here. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Right, lovely. A couple of things I want to get off my chest about this, right? First of all, Tessa Blanchard should not be on the card. Shouldn't be anywhere near. How does that woman still have a job? The big thing that I wanted to touch on, the reason why I was dying to get on the show this week, is to touch on Bubba Ray Dudley and what he did at the end. Now, look, lads, I know you should touch on that in the end, but Bubba Ray Dudley is somebody that walks around like he's God's gift to wrestling. Mid-carder at best. Devon was always the better Dudley. always. And to turn around and say we're going to have the greatest tag team match one more time. No, not a chance. You're talking about a tag team, the Dudleys, that were carried by Edge and Christian. They were carried by the Hardys. And the only reason, it's like Cardona. This is what I was saying about Cardona. If I'm in the if I'm in the WWE for 5 seconds, I could go to any promotion and get a title. That's it, and that's what the WWE does. When they leave the machine, it exposes them. And I was watching Bubba Ray's little speech, and it kind of overshadowed. It kind of overshadowed the pay-per-view for me. I actually liked the pay-per-view. I thought it was solid, but Jesus Christ, that Bubba Ray Dudley fella really I won't say it really peed me off, because like that, Devon's the better Dudley. And look, I'm going to say one more thing as well, and it's something I don't think Sean Mack's going to like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it.
I don't think he's liked what you said already.
They come from ECW, right? And ECW was not a big brand. It wasn't.
Yeah. He's going to go all Jerry Lawler here now, isn't he?
Oh but it wasn't. It wasn't. It had its solid base. It had its small base fans. And I'm sorry, Sean Mack.
You nailed that man from the stream. That's blasphemy. Jeez.
And look, I like ECW One Night Stand. It was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen to this day. But let's call it, like, they have a handful of good stars, and that's it. That's it.
Come on. Be watching SummerSlam on your own, you will.
Which we'll touch on towards the end. And I'm sorry, because I had to get that off my chest. Obviously, the comment kind of knocked me off a bit. That match was chaotic, and it was pretty good with Cardona and NXT's Darkstay. But I had to get the Bubba Ray thing off my chest, because he's one of the most overrated players in the game. He's got a good mind for the business, and his podcast is really, really good. But other than that, he does not. Never ever will he deserve a solo Hall of Fame induction. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Sean Mack, I'm sorry, this wasn't an attack on you. I know you're not going to be happy, but that's just how I feel about it. And I think that kind of overshadowed it.
Respond.
Yeah, I might hop in. I feel that was targeted at me. I think the Dudley Boys are one of the best tag teams in professional wrestling history, bar none. They got gold in every single company they stepped in, whether it's WWE, ECW, TNA. I would agree when I say that I don't think Bubba Ray is a ring general. I wouldn't see him doing the G1 anytime soon or anything like that. And I think Devon was a better wrestler. But the thing about being in a tag team is that each guy, or each 3 or 4, depending on how many people are in it, all have their own individual strengths and weaknesses. And when being in a tag team, you can show your strengths and hide your weaknesses. And this might shock you, but ECW was a small brand. Because, yeah, but I'm saying this in a good way, but that's what made it so great. That's what made everyone love it. It was a small underdog promotion that didn't have any money to, get pyro, pay the wrestlers. That's a story for another day. But it was an underdog promotion, and because it was so anti-authoritarian and it was in such a grimy spot, and yet it still had some of the best professional wrestlers on the planet who were there, as well as great hardcore wrestling. Yeah, Ace, there we go. Finally, someone is on the
Can I just say something on that? When you're in the
WWE, there goes 400 subscribers.
When you're in the WWE and you get carried like the way that they did, of course you're going to go to other promotions using your WWE badge. I would dare say that they would just be public enemy if they never got into WWE. They'd be forgotten about and they'd be pushed to the past. And it was WWE that made them, because you just called them one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And the Natural Disasters were better than them. Do you know what I mean? The Bushwhackers were better than them. I represented them with the t-shirt. Do you know what I mean? Look, I understand wrestling is perspective and its taste, but for me, I never rated the Dudleys. They annoyed me from the moment they come in. Bubba Ray annoys me to this day. When he was given
that was their job. That was his job.
No.
You wouldn't have
annoy you.
survived ECW. They casually started riots at those shows.
They came in to be the upstart and to annoy everyone and annoy it. So they did their job.
No, but they didn't, because there's a difference between heel heat and just genuine. What in the name of Jesus are they doing? They look like they.
But see, the real heat means you're doing your job even better.
But they weren't doing their job to the standard that they should have been doing, and they never were. And that's my point. The Dudley Boys would not be anywhere without the WWE. They would have had to go back to their jobs, regular jobs, like the one that I do or whatever. That's what they would have had to do. But the reality of it is, for me, the Dudley Boys are overrated. And where is Acers? Acers, they won a title in every single promotion. Sasha Banks is doing pretty well. And to be honest, she's very overrated. Austin Aries, he had the best the belt clear, and he was actually all right. Turned out to be a prick in the end, and that's it with the Dudleys. So look, I said my piece. I've probably gone too far. And Sean, that was not an attack on you. I know you have a soft spot for ECW, but to me, I always thought when Jerry Lawler spoke about ECW, he spoke the truth.
Did he?
And that's how I felt about ECW back in the day. In saying that,
not even Jerry Lawler believed that.
No,
but that's just how I feel, and that's I've always felt like that about the likes of ECW. I've never been an ECW guy. Some people have come from ECW and they've done all right. RVD, yeah,
just RVD.
But like even what's Sandman doing these days? Do you know what I mean?
A successful podcast of his own. I got a cameo from him on my 16th birthday, and he delivered it on the last day, and it was 30 seconds, but it was incredible. He said my name. He said he loved Ireland. He said, "I'm glad you're having some cider now. I hope he gets some good merch." Hung out with Niall, friend of the show. We had a whole show dedicated to Sabu.
Wrestling is perspective, right? And it's all about taste. And like I said,
Terry,
for me,
Terry Funk,
never done it. Chainsaw Charlie,
Eddie Guerrero,
WCW
Chris Benoit,
original.
Dean Malenko, Lance Storm,
all WCW guys.
Candido.
All WCW guys.
Candido didn't do much in WCW.
Rhino.
But even Rhino, he was one move. Do you know what I mean?
Stop.
It was one move.
We only did a show where we were praising the spear for about 20 minutes.
That's it. Yeah. His gore is brilliant. If his finisher was a fisherman suplex, we wouldn't be talking about him.
You really are tired today from the kids, aren't you?
You're
not even believing this yourself. The Dudleys are unbelievable. Listen, we all holiday in Dudleyville. There's people in Dudleyville now taking out their Bren voodoo dolls now and stabbing them in the right now. How the hell you get that? Look, we can't turn around. We can't turn around and throw that shade at the Dudleys and then turn around and say we're Road Warriors fans.
Two different tag teams completely.
Yeah, but look at what they won. Look at the body of their work. Like the Dudleys, like they won tags. They New Japan all over the world.
But to me, you could win a belt in every promotion. It's not about quantity; it's about quality, and it's about persistent quality. And I just never seen that with the Dudleys.
But look at the longevity of their careers.
But the way Bubba Ray was going on about himself and the Hardys at the end of that show, it was like they were God's gift to wrestling. It's like they were about to save wrestling. It's like they were about to put on the greatest match of all time, which is not the case.
That's pretty damn good.
It was pretty damn good.
They have put on some spectacular matches. Like, let's not take that away. And in fairness to him, he didn't take anything away from the Hardys. He didn't make it about him. He made it about them.
Right. Well, what we'll do is I need to get that off my chest. I still feel the way I feel. And again, I'm not discounting the little things that ECW did. I just really feel that the Dudleys are one of the most over.
Best comment of the night so far.
He came back to ECW and he dropped the belt to Mikey Whipwreck.
Yeah, no, I remember all that. But that doesn't take away from the fact that ECW needed a lend of a grand off Vince towards the end of their tenure every month.
Listen, let's be honest here. Most independent wrestling promotions have gotten an LFU bob off Vince from time to time. That doesn't take anything away from them.
They did. Now, come here. I feel like I'm after derailing the show a little bit by going on about Bubba Ray, but that's genuinely how I feel about the Dudleys, and it's genuinely how I feel about Bubba Ray. Devon should have been given a better chance. Devon should have been TNA championship. material over Bubba Ray. And aces and eights, come on, aces and eights, Jesus
I think
Christ!
that you can't pin that on him.
It's not just on him, but like I said, for me, Bubba Ray grinds my gears. He's got a
Do
good
you
mind
really
for wrestling.
believe this? Do you really believe what you're saying here now, or do you just want to say you think he's a bit of a dick? Because you're taking away a whole body of work there, and a whole career, and a whole section of wrestling history that still to this day stands up. Like everyone knows the guy's a bit of a dick. That's okay. You can be a bit of a dick if you want, but that's different than like discarding the tag belts that they won, discarding the achievements that they did, discarding like the impact they had everywhere they wrestled. You know what I mean? Discarding the TLC matches. Discarding
I'm not discarding
lot
the
of that
TLC matches. I'm just saying that the body of work for the TLC, most of that was carried on by the Hardys, and
also incorrect. It was, but you know it wasn't.
We'll have a watch along. We'll have a watch along, and you'll see. We'll look back. It's just how I feel. That's it.
I think you're failing for the fact that the guy is a dick, is overshadowing. I think you can't separate that. It's like as if you're confusing the reality of the real guy with the guy who plays Bubba Ray Dudley.
No, I don't know. I'll come back to it. But for now, that's just how I feel on it. And again, this isn't me backing down in defeat anyway.
No, absolutely
I just
not.
think there's a lot more to cover. But it's how I feel. And I'll come back with receipts one of the weeks. But it just really grinded my gears towards it.
Just the other night. But what grinded your gears the other night about it? What was so bad about it?
It was specifically when he said, let's put on, first of all, well, actually, it was specifically when he said, let's put on the greatest match of all time, one more time, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
One of the greatest matches of all time.
I heard the greatest. And when I heard that.
That's because you saying them on the screen, you go, dickhead. And you
Look, probably, but he's always grinded my gears. I've had arguments on Twitter about him. When he was given the TNA title, I had arguments. I says, "There's no way this man should be in the main event scene at all," and it might be not his fault, but like that should have been the bullet in the head for TNA.
Do you remember following TNA at that time?
I don't actually know.
It probably wasn't the worst choice in the world, in fairness, with what was going on in TNA at that time. That's for sure. I can tell you that much. They did a whole lot worse than just putting it on him. Put it that way.
I mean, maybe, but look, we'll do a tag team episode one of the days, one of the weeks, and we'll discuss it more in detail then, because I do believe in what I'm saying.
I'd find it very different from my point of view, and I'm not like your point of view is your point. From my point of view, I'd find it very difficult to discard that body of work and the impact that the Dudley Boys have had on wrestling. I'd find it very difficult to do. And listen, I'm with you. I think probably as a person, he's probably, out there and stuff like that,
But I also think it is perspective and it is opinion. Like, for example, Sean Mack knows more about ECW than I do. 100%, undoubtedly. And Sean Mack has good taste in wrestling, generally. But when it comes to that, we are not on the same page.
But they were a huge part of it. Like, they were a huge part of it. They were like, if you go back and you look at the Dudleys down through the years and stuff like that, they were a big part of most stuff that they were involved in. It's hard to discount it. It's hard to discount them as part of the TLC match and stuff like that and all. It's really, really difficult. And some of the stuff that they did was so entertaining and all. I get it. They're not like Zack Sabre Jr. or anything, but that's not what they were ever supposed to be. You know what I mean?
I understand. Like, some of my favorite wrestlers, you see, Dusty Rhodes, Roddy Piper, all that stuff, but they're not exactly technical bloody Benoits and Malenkos, as you say. Dudley Boys 10 times better than those. No, they are not. That is a statement. No, they're not. The New Day are 100 times better. We'll have this discussion.
I think he's talking about the current rendition of it, not the pancakes and the Budios all the rest of
Yeah.
it. The current rendition is a bit wishy-washy, all right. Right,
Well,
let's
I
keep on
didn't.
going. Women,
Yeah, we didn't mean to
we'll
bring down
push
the
on
tone.
anyway.
Let's go.
You didn't bring down the tone at all. It's a good debate to have, and it's good to get things off your chest. This is a therapy session as well as a wrestling show.
Yeah, we'll
Sean,
just
do
agree that
you
way.
want to take the women's matches?
I do. What can I say to top the last 15 minutes of this podcast? Absolutely nothing.
Don't mention Bubba Ray.
This wasn't entertainment for the people watching. This was entertainment for me. I was sitting back enjoying this. So I was. No, the women's match, brilliant match. I think it was completely the right choice having JC Jane win. I'm not going to lie. I don't see Masha Slamovich as that big of a deal. He's good in ring, but character-wise. Oh God. Oh God.
We're off to a good start here tonight, lads.
We
You
have
had
never-
to go there.
We
You
are,
had to
we
go
are
there.
kicking it out of the park here tonight. And
The
by the
train-
way, Acers, Reverend Devon is what gave us Deacon Batista, so give it up.
The train has never once been on the rails tonight.
I'm talking
We're on
about
a crazy
those,
train.
those new documentaries, Trainwreck. This episode will be one of them. Go on. Jeez, I don't know what the big deal is about Master Slamovich. Okay, go on, continue. It's all about opinion. Continue.
She's good, but character-wise, she lacks. Now, for JC Jane, I think WWE are doing one of the most predictable things, but something that's spot on. Everyone talks about how beatable JC Jane is, how she's the most beatable champion, and JC has addressed that herself. WWE are clearly doing the smart thing and obvious thing of not having her lose. I think that is why they had her win the match. And I think it's a smart move. I'm thinking she might get a long reign as both champion, both the knockouts and the NXT women's champion. And I think that is a smart decision. She is quite good in ring. She's got the character, she's got the look, she's got the personality. And I'm excited to see what she can do with both titles. Now, for the match itself, the match was good. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid match. And yeah, overall, pretty good.
Yeah.
The good-
Sean Mack, you take this one. Is the deal with WWE actually good?
On paper, I think it is when you have all the talent crossing over. When you own TNA and JC Jane and Trick Williams are holding your two big belts, potentially there's some argument to actually, can we have our money back and our belts back, please? I don't mind JC Jane, but I think Masha Slamovich is probably one of the most versatile women's wrestlers in the world right now. I think she's an absolute stud, and I wasn't happy to see JC Jane beat her for the. You have to remember, this is title for title. So JC Jane now has both, I believe.
Yeah.
Both
Shawn
TNA.
Michaels was parading the TNA belts around, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was so weird.
It's very, very strange. Yeah, but no, I thought the match was okay. I would have much preferred Masha Slamovich. You smoke, yeah, fucking hell. I have White Monster and there's nothing in it. I just need it just to, palate cleanser. But no,
I think we need to hug it out.
But how boring would this podcast and the world be if everyone liked the exact same stuff, right? Debate is a good thing. Debate is only a good thing, and it's fun. It's all done in good faith, for the most part. Hopefully, no. Back to my point. Masha Slamovich is great. She should not have lost, and we'll get onto it. Mike Santana should not have lost. There was two very easy winners in this match and the main event, and they went the other way. But I thought this match was really good. Hopefully, JC Jane can do well, and hopefully this means Masha might actually pop up in ring capacity in NXT.
Do you
think
think
that
it's a
could be
bit
very
much that the TNA president had to hand over the title, though?
Yeah, I think that's rubbing it in. That's like,
Yeah.
say goodbye. You're not seeing it again. Thanks for the another 5 years.
But
You're
I suppose on a much smaller scale, it's kind of like when the WCW guys came over to WWE back in 2000 and Splash, whenever that was.
The invasion.
The invasion. They did. It was just defeat after defeat after defeat, and WWE turned out golden. So it's one of those things that I think they have to watch out for. I didn't think Triple H was thought that kind of way, and maybe there's a bigger plan that we're missing here. But on a smaller scale, it doesn't look good to me personally.
Well, the bigger plan is obviously to get more exposure to the TNA belts into a bigger audience, and then the
Sure.
big payback will be at Bound for Glory when the belts return. Makes sense. This makes total sense
Sure.
to me.
If
Because
they go in that direction.
what this is doing is this is bringing NXT and TNA closer together. It's entwining it like a mini kind of invasion thing at certain levels, and I think it makes total sense.
Yeah,
I think it makes total sense. I think if you're a purist TNA fan, I think you'd be pissed because your belts are leaving to hit the building kind of thing. But I think if you make sense of it and you look at it and you think about it, makes total sense. Would we be cribbing like this if Finn Balor went down and won the NXT belt and brought it back up onto Raw? No.
No,
We'd be
absolutely not.
popping if Finn Balor defended the NXT belt on Raw. So think about it logically. Don't get confused by the badges and the names. Think about what's happening here.
Yeah,
It's very logical what's happening here, moving into Bound for Glory, and this
Jason
will be this will be a big deal.
JC Jane is not Finn Balor.
No, she's not, but you know what I mean. When you think about Masha
absolutely.
Slamovich, the return will always be more fulfilling than the journey.
No, totally. But this is TNA's big show of the year, so you'd think if there was ever going to be a moment where this happens,
It's their biggest show of the summer.
Of the summer, yeah. Well, I always
Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania.
Yeah, one of their big ones. So hopefully Bound for Glory is when it finally happens. But no, it was pretty good. It wasn't awful. I'm sure Masha Slamovich will bounce back at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked as well. I was surprised that that's where you would drop the belt, especially with the run she's been on some of the shows we've covered and stuff like that. So let's get into the next one, because the next one's going to drive interesting debate. Obviously, Leon Slater picking up the win against Moose in the X division. But the big thing, of course, coming out of this, although it was a very good match, is AJ Styles came out. And we were kind of wondering, well, what's this whole thing? What's going to happen here? And apparently there was a slight change beforehand, because there was talk that there was going to be a match and something was going to be booked, and that could still happen for Bound for Glory. Bren, give us your thoughts. AJ Styles.
I thought it was a little flat, to be honest. It was very cool to see the old music hits, AJ comes out, but I just thought the whole thing was a little bit flat. I don't necessarily think it's their fault either. I think it's just how I'm programmed as a wrestling fan. You know, when something big like that, and because in my head he was going to come out, he was going to save somebody, he was going to knock somebody out, he was going to do something along the lines of that, and there was going to be a match, but instead it was a bit of a "How are you, Randy?" It was a bit of a kind of like thank you speech, and look, that was cool in itself, but to me personally, the way they were pushing it, I thought this was a little bit flat. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but to me, that's the way it came across.
I thought the pop was outstanding because you couldn't even hear the music over the pop. I think the issue was, I think people were expecting something to be laid down. I don't know. Was he going to face Leon Slater for the X Division belt at Bound for Glory or something like what they're doing with the Dudleys or something? Or, I know that there was a last minute change, that something was supposed to happen, but they pulled back on it. So maybe something will happen in the future. So it did feel like it was kind of like, I thought he was at least going to come out and kick someone in the balls or do something, do something like, of note that would lay down something. I don't know, but Sean Mack, what was your thinking on it, AJ?
I think, well, first of all, before we go, AJ, I thought the match was really, really good. Moose and Leon Slater. Leon Slater, Prodigy, is probably one of the best young wrestlers in the world right now. I'm very happy he's getting a moment to shine, and I think Moose, I wasn't happy him winning the X Division title or retaining it in the Ultimate X match that Leon Slater won. But saying that, it was a good reign and a really good match. Now, with AJ, I think when you have on paper, before you know anything else, hearing AJ Styles returning at TNA Slammiversary, you think something's going to be big, because AJ Styles and the work he did in TNA is absolutely the stuff of legends. I really like the idea of him and Leon Slater for the X Division title. And now the more I think of it, I think that will probably happen at Bound for Glory. Is Enzo signed now? I think so.
This is Sean's pop moment.
Yeah, my pop moment. Now, I'm not like, have you seen this clip? There's this guy on TikTok who does reactions, like live show reactions. he was reacting to Enzo and Zilla Fatu coming out, and I am not joking. He was crying.
Oh wow.
His eyes were red. There was tears coming out of his face. The same way I felt watching the Sabbath gig, and it was just Enzo and Zilla Fatu and the kickoff.
I assumed it was just, I was assuming it was just for Zilla Fatu.
Yeah, no, it was for Enzo, I think. But no, that'd be great. I always say about Enzo, I think he's better in ring, still not a ring general, but he can work, and he's one of the best talkers ever. Every single person who I've met who's shit talked Enzo has always told me he's good on the mic. That is still held up. But sorry, to go back in AJ. Yeah, I think people just wanted more than what we got. But saying that, I would have rather this than him not showing up. And if we're making Bound for Glory a big deal, because that's their big show, and obviously, even though they're a bit older, and I don't have the desire to see it as I would have a few years ago, the Dudleys and the Hardy Boys is no joke. I think AJ and Leon Slater would be an absolutely great match. AJ proved against Cody he can still have bangers. And I think with Leon Slater, that would be incredible. But I didn't think it was terrible. You have to remember, it's their biggest show. Well, I keep saying the biggest show of the year. One of their biggest shows. And this card is pretty stuffed. So it's not like he was going to Simon Grotch. You know what I actually want? Bloodsport. There's Bloodsport happening the day of SummerSlam, the Saturday. Put Enzo and Simon Gotch in there. And if Enzo wins, then the Simon Gotch shoots an Enzo Amore video has to be deleted from YouTube. I've seen that in my For You thing for
I think Enzo does him in
8 years, maybe.
Yeah,
and I watched it, and I think maybe if I watch it, it will stop. And no, it's still there. The worst. But no, I think this AJ, you have to watch the space. I think it leads to bigger things at Bound for Glory. But for what it was, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I kind of felt I expected a little bit more. I was expecting a Pele and a flying forearm and a few other bits like that. And instead, I kind of, as the Miz would say, I kind of got America's Next Top Stalker mom, and that's kind of that's kind of how it felt, to me. And it was a bit flat, all right, you know what I mean. This should have been a huge deal, if you return to someone like that. Sean O, the Hardys back holding gold again.
It was the right choice. The right choice. This match was probably one of my favorites throughout the night. I love a good ladder match, and that is number one on the Hardys playbook. I think they play best in a ladder match. Do I think this match had the best lineup? No. If I was running TNA, I definitely would not have had the Nemeth brothers as tag team champions in the first place. They do not interest me one bit. That's just my opinion. It was
a lot of hot takes here tonight, I tell you. My God.
This train has not been on the tracks once, as Sean said, so let's keep it off the tracks. I
love it.
Obviously, there was a big deal made when Nick Nemeth came into the company. He got the world title. All was well and good. Ryan Nemeth, what the hell is he even doing here? Let's be honest. Well, I'm going to be honest anyway. I don't know what you think. I don't see a big deal or any deal with him. He doesn't interest me one bit. He's just there. Overall, the match was great. I think either the Hardys or the Rascals would have been a great choice. But it is great to see the Hardys back on top.
Good choice.
What do you think of what happened after that match? When you missed.
One of the greatest tag team wrestlers came down and called
Someone should talk about Bubba Ray. I wonder how.
What's that man coming?
No, look, it's not going to hit the same. But to have the Hardys wrestling, I'm not calling Team 3D, the Dudley Boys, ever, and even in this current day, is big. And look, you have to skew your expectations. If you're expecting TLC 3, you're going to be very disappointed.
Do they add another tag team into it, a TNA tag team? Do they do that, or do they keep it? Do they keep the same? Do they just keep it as is?
I don't think there's anyone else in TNA that they could add that would still have the same. feeling. So
Maybe
no,
it's maybe it feeds into the storyline of Christian having to go find himself. No,
with
Oh
Edge.
my God.
The train's coming.
Yeah, I was about to say Edge and Christian, but I was like, no, it's not going to work out because
His contract's up in October, and I'm not sure if there's any kind of non-compete clause or any kind
who
of injury
Kopi Wopey or Christian?
time. Edge.
Oh, okay. I don't think he'd go to TNA though.
But that's what I suppose we're a bit all over the place in the sense that I'm about to say that it's looking like if he doesn't resign with and there's no kind of like extended period, he could do Cena at the beginning of December.
Imagine if they
Yeah.
both come out of Bound for Glory with the goggles on and everything and the music and all. Oh my god. Christian in the net top and all. Oh my god.
To benefit those with flash photography.
That would be quality.
Oh my god.
An instant classic.
Yeah. If that's on the table, sure, but if not, just leave it Dudley's Hardy's.
Sure.
I think it'll just be the two, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's just be
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah.
Don't fix what isn't broken.
There we
Matt
go.
Hardy.
We need Edge and Christian for this match in October and make it TLC. When I gets a new hip. When I gets a new hip. Unfortunately, one hip isn't enough. Let's round it out then with the title match. Trick Williams picking up a big win against Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Bren?
Yeah, I don't think Trick Williams should be champ. I think I totally agree. I think Mike Santana or put it back on Hendry. But look, I didn't think of it the way you put it there earlier on. If it's feeding into the TNA getting all of the belts back properly and all of the TNA starts getting the belts I have a stutter now properly at Bound for Glory, brilliant, fantastic. But it's just I don't know.
Well, think about it. Think about it logically. We seen a picture today of Shawn Michaels holding the TNA belt.
I know, and it goes back to the point of what, like it's like just in case you forgot, we own you. Just in case you forgot, look, here's one of our biggest stars of all time holding your titles like it's nothing. Like he went down to Smith's and he picked.
I don't think he held it like it was nothing.
No,
but
like
doing him at the service.
The point I'm trying to make is that it's very at the moment, and from what I can see, it's very in your face. It's very kind of like I said, it's on a smaller scale. It's we own your asses. Now
on this side of the tracks, we call it brand awareness.
No, but like if what you suggested earlier on is going to be the case, I'm all for it. But my immediate reaction to this pay-per-view after, until you just said what you said, was they're getting a bit of a raw deal.
Well, they're both owned by TKO, so it doesn't in theory, like in theory, they're all one. In theory.
I know, but that's not how we see it, though, is it? You know, like I get what you're saying, like it's just not how.
But it's exactly how I see it.
Cocaine Cam won't let that happen. Okay, yeah, no, and that's fair enough. But for me, it's hard to set. It's hard to kind of like separate that.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments on the main event before we move on from TNA Slammiversary and never review a TNA event ever again?
Yeah, this is a mistake. I thought this is a bit underwhelming. Obviously, Mike Santana not winning was very bad, but the finish as well, Kazarian coming out, was weird. And even before that, I don't think the action was that good. Now, part of it could have been because it was just after the ladder match, which was a fun car crash. You know, a lot of stuff happening. AJ Francis forgetting how to bump. The Hardys winning. The one thing I like about TNA is they have the kind of helicopter ladder instead of just like a single ladder. So Jeff climbed that was cool. But yeah, not a good way to end the show. Unfortunately, a bad main event can kill a show.
100%. Eric Bischoff always says that.
Yep, and like the truth is in the pudding. I like Trick Williams. I'm not opposed to him being NXT champion, but I am opposed to him keeping it after tonight. But again, Bound for Glory is another opportunity, and I presume, hopefully, Mike Santana will get it then. But I think no one would have complained if they pulled the trigger here and put the belt on him. I think he's been the MVP of TNA. He's been in great promos and had absolutely great matches. When you see him on his own, if you only knew him from Santana and Ortiz and AEW as I did initially, you probably wouldn't even be aware how good he is.
He was awesome at Unbreakable when I was at it. He was awesome.
Yeah, he's proper stud. pity he didn't get the belt, but hopefully that'll come down the line. But yeah, decent enough show. Not great, but I don't think it's as bad as I think last time I checked. It had like a 2.85 on Cage Match, which is like not too far away from.
I think from what I read that AJ Styles was supposed to do something with Kazarian, so it may have been something to do with this main event situation that people maybe were expecting something and it didn't happen. And that's probably why it went a little bit flat. So I think if you're going to bring someone like AJ Styles back to TNA, it has to be something more than that. You can't just flash that up there and put out all those images and that history. And I mean, these guys' vignettes are used in the promotion of all these pay-per-views and stuff like that. You got to do more than that. You can't pull back at the last minute. Where are we? TNA badly needs LAX back. What a tag team. What a tag team.
How
TNA
Homicide's retired.
Yeah.
I don't know about Hernandez. But yeah. Can you imagine any of these either Trick Williams or Joe Hendry getting hit with the border toss by Hernandez?
Oh, God.
He used to kill Gail Kim, and I remember he did Spike Dudley on a ladder. My God, it was incredible.
I was having breakfast with Ben the other morning. We were talking about TNA because Ben bought the game again. He's playing the game again, the TNA Impact one. What a game! And he's one of his favorites. He loves Shark Boy. He always loved Shark Boy for some reason. Yeah, so
for some reason, it's Shark Boy.
Yeah, cool. Give me a shell, yeah. TNA should bring back main event Mafia. Don't know about that. Dino, all right, chaps. How are you, my friend? Sorry, I'm late. Don't let it happen again. No problem at all. Absolutely. Right, let's get into a bit of Raw. Let's talk Raw here and now because we want to get into Ozzy and stuff like that. Let's quick run down through Raw. Take it wherever you want, lads. I have to say, one of my moments on Raw was this. I thought this was just amazing. If at first you don't succeed, try again, yeah?
It's a way to do it. It's just a way. He didn't cover anything up. Just accountability came up. It was brilliant. And now that's a meme we're going to have forever. Meme? Yeah. What's it called? I don't know.
Meme.
A meme. Yeah. I'm not with it.
A meme.
I'm not with it.
Are showing.
That must be the third Dudley boy, is it? Memmy. Memmy Dudley.
Well,
Sean, I have to ask Sean this first before we get into Raw. Were you waiting for him to say, please, sir, can I have another? When he was on the deck and Rusev was kicking lumps out of him.
Yeah, it was just missing the handcuffs.
It was, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, you did. You kind of did miss the AJ party. Listen, you'll have to go back and look at the start of the show from the beginning.
It was more so just us complaining about how it wasn't a party at all. It was just
a volcano erupted, and we nearly ended up on TMZ. There you go. Right, take it. Who did I say, Sean or Bren? Is it Bren? Roll down. What do you think?
I'll start. The CM Punk and Gunther face off. That was interesting to me. CM Punk was good. Gunther was cool as well. No, I liked it. It kind of like fell flat towards the end. Yeah. Admittedly, that maybe you should have thrown a brawl in there. But the only thing about it is, like, I can't
get out of here.
I can't see Gunther losing at SummerSlam. I can't see it happening. So what does that? Where does that leave CM Punk? Now, the only way I can see it happening is, and this kind of made me think. There's a lot of talk at the moment about Seth Rollins. And there's a lot of talk about Seth Rollins at the moment, and is the injury legitimate? I'm kind of on the side that it is legitimate, but it's how severe it is. And to me, the only way Gunther loses is if it's not as legitimate or not as serious, and he comes back and he cashes in. Because the other thing is, and I'm going to hop, skip, and jump here to the promo at the end. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They just need to like that. If that injury is legitimate, that group needs to part. They need to go their separate ways. Because if there was something missing before that, and I don't think bringing somebody in like Heyman suggested at the start is the answer. So look, I like the start of it. I'm unsure what's going to happen at SummerSlam, which is always a good thing. And I think we'll find out how serious that injury is by the main event. That will cash in on Seth did say as long as he's in WWE. And that's the thing. The Seth injury is a work. And look, that's the thing. But I don't know. But they're kind of like focusing a bit on it in certain areas. Like they had a clip of him on crutches with his daughter there as well. I don't know, but look, after that Sheamus and Rusev match, those lads took lumps out of each other. Brilliant as always, and you showed the meme, the meme. Okay, it's a meme. You showed the meme there earlier on. That's going to be with us forever. But yeah, no, look, lads, I like to start fit. What did you think?
Sean O?
Which one are we on? Sorry.
Pick whichever you want, whatever you want to talk about on Raw.
I think we got to go with Becky and Lyra, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
I talk about them every week, so I'll keep this nice and short. Look, it was an all right promo. I feel like at this point we're kind of going in circles with, no DQ, no count outs, all that sort of stuff. I feel like that's in every match the past few months. Lyra is getting more confident on the mic, which you always like to see, and I've said this a few weeks ago. Yeah, I'm excited for this match at SummerSlam. I'm hoping Lyra picks up the win. But then just don't go around in circles again. Don't have Becky win the title, or if I'm being honest, don't have Bailey win the title either. I feel like we talked about this a few weeks ago, that Bailey's just been kind of injected into the storyline, which isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes that works out for the best, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like in this case it just isn't working out for the best. It's feeling that little bit forced. So I think maybe get Bailey away from the title and have her come back sometime down the line, maybe in the next champion or champion after that. But for the most part, I am happy that it is Lyra in the title picture at SummerSlam, and I'm hoping she wins.
Okay. Sean Mac?
I think I'll continue on with the theme of women and go on to. Sorry, it's probably not the best segue. I'll go on to the next match, which is a women's title match. Not Judgment Day against Bailey and Lyra. There was no way they were going to coexist. I think anyone could see that. They couldn't coexist, but also Judgment Day are a very well-oiled machine. So I think they worked well together. Good win for Raquel and Roxanne. If only their luck, Judgment Day's luck, continued, because unfortunately Dominic Mysterio discovered that he was actually fine.
Brilliant.
And that him attacking people and getting involved in matches wasn't a gift from God. It wasn't God like shining down upon him good health and good wishes. He was fine the whole time. So that match with AJ the janitor, AJ the doctor, AJ the valet
Styles.
Whatever he is, yeah. They should have sent Valet Styles to Slamversary, and then we could have had AJ here. But no, decent win for Raquel and Roxanne. I feel the way Bailey was kind of not acknowledging how there was tension at the start. The way she was kind of like, oh yeah, she was the one who actually got this match. She not booked it, for fuck's sake, but like went to Adam Pearce and wanted the match, and she was very casual about it. It was almost like all the tension that was there beforehand didn't happen. So that makes me think Bailey is plotting something against Lyra. We'll have to see where that goes, but I think this was a good match overall.
Yeah, you kind of feel like Bailey's inclusion in this isn't finished yet and all, and that there's more to come here than meets the eye, shall we say. Karrion Kross defeating Sami Zayn. I'm a happy man, I have to say. But what did we make of on the live show cutting to the break in the middle of his entrance?
They don't discriminate. They did it for Goldberg as well.
That's true.
Did you know Sami Zayn at the start of the show, they showed everyone walking in, he was wearing the Bose Oasis
jersey with the Oasis top. Yeah.
I'm hoping next week Karrion Kross comes out in a Pats jersey or something, or or Rovers jersey.
Jersey.
My cousin's getting back into wrestling because it's on Netflix, and he's a big Bose fan, so he sent me that and was all over it. Cool to see. And what happened? Because I saw there was blood on Karrion Kross's arm.
You got a smack in the nose. You got a smack in the nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was
dear.
back in the nose, and then he tried to pull off the Becky moment with the blood on the mush, and it didn't really work.
No.
The match,
what do you,
it didn't
Cool
hurt
visual, though.
anybody.
huh?
Like Sammy had an out. He still has those ribs taped up.
Right.
So he was injured anyway. Carrion needed a win. Didn't hurt anybody. It was what it was. But the entrance was it. They say they're listening. And I think they probably genuinely are, but it's a bit weird. What was that? Sammy taking the L was, oh Lord. Well, look, hey, let's see how it progresses from here. Does this put Sammy out for a while? Because he was out indefinitely 2 weeks ago. Is he out for a while now? Do we know anything? Did any news come up on it? Does anybody know?
No, he's probably out indefinitely.
He got hit with the pipe in his previously injured ribs. That's
I like the way they banged the pipe off the post just to let you know it was legit before they handed it in. And Sammy took it like a champ, straight to the stomach.
real metal, Cry Me a River.
We spoke on the show obviously about Karrion Kross and about how we wanted him to go a bit deeper, and that we wanted Scarlett to play a more role and stuff like that, and all, a la Sherry or something like that. Are we beginning to see this beginning to evolve? Is this how we're going with it?
Slowly.
That's what I thought when I was watching it, to be fair. What you said came into my head, basically taking the role of Sherry. So maybe, and like Sean said, slowly, and hopefully that's the direction they're going, because it gives them some character, some depth.
Yeah. Sean Io Sky versus Stephanie McCourt ending in a no contest. Empty out the locker room again.
What women's match do they have that doesn't end in a no contest on Raw at this point? Let's be honest. Let's just get a list for next week. That's my assignment, okay? I don't like homework, but I'll do it if I have to. Yeah, overall,
Class.
a great match. Stephanie McCourt and Io Sky, two women that are just on fire lately. I am excited for the match at SummerSlam, and I'm excited for Clash in Paris because we will have Stephanie versus Naomi. Two of them are just stars. They're made to be in the title picture, and they definitely proved it last night. It was an enjoyable match from start to finish-ish. Let's put it that way. Yeah, overall great match.
Sean Wade Barrett was fairly enthusiastic about this match on commentary, wasn't he?
I wonder why. Because he knew Chelsea Green was coming out, presumably. No, this was good. Very excited that we got it. Wasn't stoked with the finish of Chelsea Green and the Secret Service spoiling everyone's fun. As Sean said, Raw seems to I wish anyone loved me as much as Triple H loves booking no contests on Raw. And Sean's right. I see it a lot more in the women's matches nowadays more than I do the men's.
To think of it.
I think that's just him saying, okay, Twitter, you have your women's match. Fine. You can't take it away. It happened. Men's match now. Because that gets a lot of criticism that there's not enough
free on this card.
Yeah. So it's improving. And the week before, I think, actually had loads of women. But Triple H says, if I have a no contest, technically, in history, that match happened on Raw, and that's one women's match. So maybe they'll leave me alone. But no, I say presume. I can guarantee you the match at Paris is going to be much better. And it's fine, I suppose. If they do this on TV, it's fine. No contests that elongate feuds. On TV, that's fine. On pay-per-view, that's probably one of the worst habits they have ever.
Yes, too much.
Yeah, way too much. But no, I thought this is okay. Would have been nice if Chelsea Green didn't ruin it, but it's fine.
Yeah, Stephanie's gone from strength to strength anyway, that's for sure. When the big dog comes out, lads, the crowd react, don't they? Brent, Roman Reigns.
He's already is unmatched. I seen some guy on the TikTok machine. He was saying he was watching it, and basically his ma walked into the room and she was like, "Who's that?" Damn. And he's like, "You ain't never watching this again."
Did you see the other guy who absolutely lost his shit?
No.
He looked a bit like Zilava too. He was on TikTok, and my God, This lad must lie in his bed and have Roman Reigns posters on the ceiling. This guy absolutely destroyed his cacks, I'd say.
Well, look, his aura is completely unmatched. And look, this segment, Dino touched on it there earlier on, and he's kind of agreeing with what I'm saying about the group as a whole. Unless Seth comes in and swoops in and saves it, and the injury isn't what it is, the group needs to go. But Roman was class here. I thought Heyman was really good at the start.
Quality.
He was really good at the start.
My tribal chief.
All that stuff was brilliant. And the way he offered them, he says, there's an opportunity here to take over the group. I mean, and that in itself. And we can't ignore as well Breaker. Like the reactions that Breaker's getting. And I love Breaker. The future is in good hands. But look, this segment overall, it did what it needed to do. Even when Jay came out. I did hear that they used AI after the show. After the kind of because I heard Roman Reigns was yeeting. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he was up on the turnbuckle.
Roman Reigns, just for the record, claims that was AI. He would never do such a thing. But look, the whole segment in itself was deadly. Somebody said earlier on they want to see Breaker versus Roman in a singles match. I think maybe down the line. Now is not the time to do that, because if you do, what do you book? You know what I mean? What's this?
Karrion Kross might come out in an Israel jersey.
Oh my god!
My god! I have a cardboard cutout of the Shero Gremlin Michael Hayes.
That is it.
Shero Gremlin. Oh, I love it. Roman Reigns promo on treadmill today, calling Braun Breaker a little dumb bitch. Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. And when he says, "Listen, I'm not going to tell you again. Back up." You know what I mean? When you feel it when he talks. Breaker needs to whip out that Steiner Mats.
I'm so disappointed he's never done a Steiner Mats promo ever.
It's coming. There's no doubt about it. It's coming. So yeah, reasonably solid Raw, I would say. I don't think it hit the straps of last. I think last week's one was better, but that's no harm because we've one more to go between now and Survivor Series.
A bit hit and miss. I feel like they do maybe 2 or 3 weeks of a great Raw, then a week or two of a brilliant Raw, and then it just goes downhill for 3 or 4 weeks and then back up again. It's nearly like a roller coaster.
But for something that's on 52 weeks of the year, you can kind of expect that, as long as the balance is in our favor, which I think at the moment we've been very lucky over the last few years. The balance has been in our favor, and for the most part, wrestling has been knocking it out of the park. And so the odd bad show, or even the odd average show, I think it has to happen. But yeah, also as well the DQ endings. We need to be more decisive. Has anybody heard of R-Truth?
He's in a thing. What was SmackDown, isn't he, with Aleister Black, or was part of that initially?
But the hype behind R-Truth isn't there anymore. It's gone. It's swept under the thing.
What hype? I said this to you already. What I called this, didn't I?
No, you did. But I just think if we're gonna get behind somebody or something, stay behind the man. You know what I mean?
No one ever was batting for Ron Killings. They were all batting for R-Truth.
Hands off the tracks again.
That's it.
Killer
Kross needs to come out wearing a Prophet Muhammad. Sami Zayn promo.
Just get Sammy in the Bulls jersey and wear Shamrock or something.
Right, lads. Ozzy Osbourne. We lost a great man yesterday, 76 years of age. What a wonderful gig up there in Birmingham a couple of weeks ago. Raised 190 million or something for charities. Absolutely phenomenal amount of money. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, has had his print in WWE back as early as WrestleMania 2, coming out with Captain Lou Albano and the British Bulldogs to win the tag straps off the then Dream Team. Brutus, I think it was, and Greg the Hammer. Sean Mack, kick us off. Ozzy, you heard he had passed.
Sorry. I wasn't laughing at that. Yeah. I was laughing at the comment that just came up there. Sorry, I wasn't being disrespectful. Jesus Christ! Right, I apologize.
That's the Diddy in him coming out there. You
that's the wrong booker.
War Games saying War Pig, yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me to. I could talk for like 3 hours here, take up the entire podcast about Ozzy and how special he was and how influential he was, and I think we'd only be scratching the surface. Or barely scratching the surface, I should say. Yeah, I mean, even if you only know him from wrestling, and I would pray, as a Spotify bio reads, if you need to read a bio about who Ozzy Osbourne is, what rock have you been living under?
Very
I mean,
good.
the man was so influential. From his own solo work to Black Sabbath, everything he did was absolutely incredible in the music industry. He was so universally loved. I read his book on holidays like 2 years ago. It's probably my favorite music autobiography ever. And I mean that, like, the stuff in that is genuinely like atrocious. I remember I gave it to my friend and he told me, "Oh, I've read 2 chapters of it. I'm not mad about it." And then 2 hours later, he told me it was the greatest book he's ever read. Ozzy and Black Sabbath, but I'd say mainly Ozzy, have made their impact on wrestling. More recently at Survivor Series, I think actually the first one where they did War Games, which is 2022. War Pigs was the theme. Yeah, this is what I mean. And the funny thing is, there was some doubt at the time at whether or not Triple H was fully in charge of the company. I think there was rumors Vince was still lingering around, and I was saying, how can you see Ozzy doing War Pigs and think that Triple H isn't fully in the driver's seat? He's right there, and of course, he showed up in probably one of the worst eras of Monday Night Raw in a very good segment. Him, or no, just Sharon, I think, was a judge on American Idol. So they had a talent show, and the only thing I remember from that was Chris Masters flexing his chest muscles
Spoke about it last week, remember?
to
Said I
Crazy
watched it.
Train. Yeah, it was tremendous. And Ozzy says, "Someone get that man a bra."
Yeah. So good.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
good.
Very good.
And it feels even more poignant that we lost him because 2 weeks ago I was in France and I paid 30 quid to sit in my cabin room. I drained the last of my mobile data to watch him perform. And the whole event was absolutely incredible. I mean, the lineup and everything. They said it was going to be like the biggest heavy metal show of all time. It really was. But seeing Ozzy and then Sabbath was incredibly emotional. And it feels even more so knowing that this was it. But I remember I wanted to, but it was during Leaving Cert. I wanted to see Ozzy when he was meant to come to the 3 Arena, I think,
One that was cancelled.
with Judas Priest. It was meant to happen during COVID, and then it got pushed to like 2023. And then he said, "My body's not able to travel, so I can't." So he was pretty much locked up, quarantined, if you will, for about 5 or 6 years. And this gig in Villa Park was the first time that he had performed, and it was absolutely incredible. I don't think there was a dry eye. I was almost crying just watching it.
Yeah.
As soon as he started singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home," the whole place was just, my God. But what a way for him to go out in his hometown, singing in front of all those people, all the millions watching, all the millions and millions, bit of wrestling for you there, watching at home and raising so much money for so many incredible causes. Ozzy Osbourne went out the way that he wanted to.
On his terms.
He went out on his terms. He got to sing on his own and with his friends. He had an incredible band assembled, and he had an incredible day dedicated to him. And I think very few bands would have like a whole festival dedicated to just them. But Ozzy Osbourne is one of these people. And I think in music and even in wrestling, the term legend gets thrown around way too loosely. I think Ozzy is one of the few people that actually fits the term legend. And he is such an incredible loss. And while he's gone, his music, whether that be on his own or with Black Sabbath, will never die. It still hits me, even though it happened yesterday. It's still very, very difficult to process. But he is forever the fucking Prince of Darkness. No one will take that away from him, and he lived a remarkable life for a remarkable man. And what a privilege to see him go out the way he did. And rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness. Long may you live.
Yeah, I think the one thing we can say about him is that his passing will elevate him even more. He'll become kind of an even bigger star to the masses and stuff like that, and even the younger people who wouldn't have experienced Ozzy and Black Sabbath and everything else and all. And I just imagine when I got the news yesterday, I just imagine people going back watching seasons and episodes of the Osbournes and all that kind of stuff and living through all that again, and him just wandering around this mansion with these people, go Sharon, and all this kind of thing and all, and it was just so good to watch and stuff like that. And it was just at the time it was so new and raw and riveting, and obviously it creates complications as these reality shows do. Obviously, Kelly had her issues, and the son had his issues as well after the fact, but they've come through them now and all. And to see Kelly there, she looks absolutely fantastic and all. And she was talking about the day that and she had her kid there, and people were bringing up little biker jackets and leather jackets for her kid and different things and all that kind of gifts and all. So they had a wonderful day, and it did really feel, I suppose, looking back on it now, that it was the ultimate send off for him, really. I don't know, Sean, how are you a Sabbath fan? Are you an Aussie fan?
I am. I'm a bit of both. And
Yeah.
over the last couple of days, actually, me and my sister just coincidentally happened to be watching the Osbournes, and even for people who mightn't be familiar with him and Black Sabbath's music and just the show in general, he was a hilarious man and someone who wasn't even trying to be funny, but was just genuinely hilarious. From the time he said he was going to throw the dog in the pool, to the time he yelled at the cats, to the time where he thought someone stole his beer. Sharon, somebody's been drinking my beer. No, you're the beer thief, Ozzy. You're the beer thief. So yeah, obviously it's heartbreaking, it's devastating. So it is. So I was just
That was so good. That was just shit all over the place. He was just so, I don't know what it was about him. He was so raw and he was so English, wasn't he? Like at a time where, like, you know what I mean? It's like he was just really like, he just, you could see him getting up in the morning wanting his English fry up and all this kind of stuff and all. He just bled that English in him and stuff like that. And all the dogs are fucking shitting all over the house and all, you know what I mean? Typical.
I remember
throw the fucking dog in the pool.
Everyone else is going around with this show trying to be this multi-millionaire, famous family kind of thing in this house. And all he's on about is the dog shitting all over the place and people having his beers and,
I remember I can't remember who was giving the interview to, but someone asked him who would you pick to play your life in a movie, and he said Denzel Washington.
Brilliant.
I would love that. And also
Tremendous.
his book, I'd highly recommend it. It's called I Am Ozzy. I think it's like from 2007.
Yeah.
The stories in that he talked about, I can't remember what album it was. I think it might have been Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. But Black Sabbath went to a haunted castle to record one of their albums, and it was a bit of a disaster, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I even remember hearing stories like he went to like I think Poland or Prague or something like that with the prostitute, and like he slept over, and she got up in the morning and said, I'm going to work, you could just don't look through my stuff. And as she was gone, he was looking through her drawers and found I'm not kidding, a full replica Nazi uniform, and he put it on and started parading around the house, and he got caught by the like he lived such an unbelievably crazy, remarkable life. Wow. I thought he would have outlived everyone. I mean, like,
yeah, you kind of pinch yourself and think, how did he get to 76? When you read the stories and read the book and all, you go,
yeah,
how did this guy get to 76? Like, it's insane.
And even his music in the later years, I bought Patient Number 9, which was his last solo album, on the day of release, and the lineup that he had, as well as the songs and everything, were incredible. Fuck off, Bill goes Jim.
Whatever the fucking name is. You're dead if you touch this chicken.
Another thing, and this came on recently, and I hate this movie, but the all women's Ghostbusters, apps talk dog shit. But there's a part in that where they go to like a rock concert, and one of the ghosts there,
sorry,
and the ghost is flying around, and they get it, and then he's backstage and goes, Sharon, I thought I'm having visions again. Seeing the ghost in the air, like, it's just.
Yeah.
And more recently, and this is a lesson to everyone, to avoid recreational drugs, because Ozzy Osbourne had a 2-hour conversation with the horse on one sip of acid. Just think of the horrors though. Wait, let him be a sign of what could happen. I mean, I can't even imagine how far down you must be in a spiral of drugs to have a horse to tell you to F off. At that point, do you not just say, actually, I should probably stop and
Class.
go to bed? But the fact that like he
I
appeared,
don't know. Maybe
more
what he couldn't get out of humans, he got out of animals.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's it.
Do you remember he got drunk and shot up a chicken farm?
Yeah,
That happened. He just got drunk,
Class.
brought a gun, opened the chicken hen, and
yeah. There's so many memories, and to be so entwined in this product that we love as well, wrestling. And you know, for wrestling and everything else to be such a staged kind of thing, and for him to bring that realness to it and stuff like that, you know, it's just he was one of those guys, and he just, you know, I suppose what's endearing to us about him is he just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of way. And that's admirable for a guy and stuff like that as well. You know, like he was one of a kind, there's no doubt about it, to steal the line and stuff like that. And I'm sure he's up there now with Lemmy and all the rest of them up there, absolutely putting music together. And I'm sure heaven is an interesting place now. I'm sure God was very interested when Ozzy Osbourne knocked on the gates of heaven and said, "Is there room for one more?" I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah. What you mean I'm not
him and
getting
Randy Rhodes and Lemmy and Kurt Cobain and Lane Stanley and David Lynch recently? Heaven must be a really, really cool place to be.
Yeah,
All the dead cats up there.
Yeah, was this the one day now where he presented them with the chain, the cross and chain and stuff and all? Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was
Very, very cool.
Very, very, very cool. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was actually asked
gig.
that question. Darren said that he was asked that question. If there's one artist he sees a younger self in, it would be Youngblood. Would.
Yeah, definitely interesting. So what we could say is, you know, I don't know whether could we even say rest in peace, because I can't imagine that being the case. You know, when it's Ozzy Osbourne, you know
Rest
what I mean?
madness.
I'd say
Rest.
rest in madness or rest in power or something
Beautiful.
like that. Yeah, it certainly wouldn't be. I don't think peace would be his spin at all. Bren, you sent me this today. One, Eric Bischoff on the Ariel Helwani show mentioning that if TNA Wrestling got the right TV cook-up contract, whatever you want to call it, and stuff like that, within 2 years they could surpass AEW.
Well, you like, even based on what you said earlier on, if what you said earlier on fruits true, and it happens like that, I can see it happening. I can see him being right. AEW to me, one of the only there's two interesting people on AEW to me at the moment. Look, there's a lot of good people on AEW, but the two people that really kind of grab my attention are MJF and Timeless Tony, right? And to me, AEW's too hit and miss. If WWE is going to invest in TNA, and if they follow through and they really push through it, I can see it being a possibility. And if that does happen, what do they do then? What do you think? I mean, I thought it was a very interesting take. And he said credit where credit's due to AEW as well. He's like, I'm not trying to take away from them. I just say it as I see it. I mean,
but he is taking it away from them. I love the way Bischoff does that. Bischoff puts a statement out there and he goes, "Now I'm not throwing shade at this crowd at all," and he's absolutely after burying them. You know?
Would you like saying what you said earlier on, right? And if WWE gets behind TNA and they follow through and they have the big Bound for Glory moment and then continue forward as they were, would you agree with what he's saying, in your opinion?
I don't know. Look, I mean, obviously we did the review of AEW All In last week and stuff like that, and it was an absolutely fantastic show and stuff like that. And I think for AEW, what they got to do is they got to get their TV to match the quality of their pay-per-views and figure out a few bits and stuff like that. But I think the big driver here really is the wealth and the money involved and all that kind of stuff and all, you know. And I think there was a fair point. I think Meltzer did make a point saying for TNA to become bigger, they'd have to get like a show on USA Network or something like that, or
yeah,
you know, that's what he was kind of putting out there and stuff like that. And maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I'm not too sure, you know. But it certainly would be a huge leap I think it might be very difficult to do it. I think TNA's goal at the moment should be to try and, I suppose when we look at AEW and we look at NXT, we know there's even an imbalance there. At times NXT absolutely knocks them out of the park. So I suppose both AEW and TNA's goal should be to, kind of match that NXT kind of situation and, not be worrying about the likes of SmackDown and Raw. Yeah, but I think it would be very difficult. I think if it was ever starting to get close and all that kind of stuff, I think Tony would throw more of the bag at it and just he'd resolve it that way. I think that's how they could. Yeah, they try and resolve things by throwing money at things, and that's sometimes the way it works, And unfortunately, TNA I don't think have that kind of chatter.
But as we've seen in the past, money doesn't always mean quality, and to me, I would agree with you. They need more of a balance. Also, they need, and I know this isn't a popular thing that I'm going to say, but they need shorter pay-per-views. They need 3 hours max. They need to be a bit more stringent. They need it basically, in my opinion, they need to be, look, cream rises to the top. If you're not good enough, if you can't show us on the B show there on Saturday, you're on Collision. If you're not good enough, you're just not going to cut it. And they need to have that kind of cutthroat thing at the moment. But I don't necessarily think this is impossible, depending on what the partnership is going to bring anyway. But we'll see what happens.
The main thing for us as fans, I think, and Sean Mack, you'll probably agree with this, is we always need alternatives and plenty of them and quality wrestling and different styles of wrestling and stuff like that. We don't necessarily want to see the different version of Raw over here or the different version of SmackDown over here.
Yeah.
I often said to people years ago when I started out in the shop and stuff like that, I always watched WWE for my entertainment and I always watched TNA and Ring of Honor for my wrestling. Yeah. And that's how I kind of used to break it up back in the day and stuff like that. And that still holds true at times, although the wrestling on WWE has hugely got improved, but that's the way it was back then if you think about that period. But yeah, no, it's an interesting point. It's an interesting narrative. He likes to put these out there and stuff like that. I think it would be very difficult. Do I think it can't happen? Of course it can happen. I mean, another Tony Khan can come along and get involved in TNA and throw the money at it, develop the roster, do everything that needs to be done and stuff like that. I think if NXT and TNA start working together more entwined in a more beneficial way both ways, I think certainly they could get the rub and they could certainly come up a level and stuff like that and all. But I think to say within 2 years to go across AEW, I think that would be tough because I think getting the TV deal is so tough. We've seen it in the past.
It's mad him throwing out opinions like that. And I don't know whether you guys have seen, but I know we kind of touched on it a few months ago. And I can't get my head around what him and Hogan are about to put forward. I know what it is. I know what it is on paper. Gecko Roman wrestling, it's the real deal, and they're getting this person and that person. For him to be throwing statements around like that and about to produce a show that he's about to produce, that, to be honest, is likely not going to last any more than a few months. I think that's a bit mad in itself as well.
A little bit, yeah. But the thing is, as Niall said, alternatives are very important.
Sure.
But even before AEW, and even when WWE was at its worst stages, TNA wasn't getting anywhere close. And even though, as we say, TNA have great wrestlers, they had good minds. Apparently, everyone hates the creative now. Even I saw Gail Kim was giving out shit about them. But even with all that, I don't have any desire to watch an episode of TNA, watch it weekly. I have maybe passing morbid curiosity to check out a pay-per-view every now and then. But I don't think it will, because AEW, has, as we said, a great roster, great minds and all that, but it's huge. Like AEW have done Wembley, they just did Texas, they've done all these, they broke into all these international markets, and they're doing great business. When's that going to happen with TNA? I don't think it ever will.
Good point.
I don't know what to think. But the thing is, AEW, TNA have had I can't even remember. My maths is terrible. I can't remember what year TNA started.
2002.
2002. So 2002. And AEW was 2019.
Yeah.
So TNA have had a 17-year head start to AEW. And
they've also had a volatile journey.
Absolutely, yeah. Now,
like if AEW had the same volatile journey and not as much backing, financial backing and stuff like that, I wonder would it. I wonder would it still be around the way TNA is. Like
Yeah.
if Tony Khan's dad today or Tony Khan decided, right, I'm whipping the money out of here. You got to be profitable. You got to survive on your own. All this kind of stuff. I don't know how much longer TNA would exist.
No, absolutely.
You
And
look,
I
if you look,
love.
if you,
Yeah.
sorry, AEW. I mean, if you look at TNA, they've gone through hell and back to still. The fact that that brand for the last 20 years is on my screen is, to me, is
Yeah.
amazing.
Astonishing.
And we all look back on TNA so fondly, the matches that happened. Like I remember when I was a kid, I don't know about anyone else, I was absolutely adoring the EC3 Rockstar Spud feud. And the hair versus hair match they had in Birmingham, I thought, or not Birmingham, it was in London actually, I thought was absolutely incredible. But TNA also had AJ Styles and Abyss and Broken Matt Hardy and the X Division. Like certainly have the legacy that if they went under tomorrow, we'd still look back on it fondly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But Bischoff, I will say, we're all giving out about him and Hogan's show. Niall, you said this. I think the week was announced. Every single person on this panel will be watching it.
Oh, you 100% will be watching it.
Even though they haven't even got 400 tickets sold for it. And
Yeah.
Is it Greco-Roman wrestling? Is it pro wrestling? I don't know.
So that's that part's not clear to me. But 100% I'll be watching it. But look, I might come on then a week.
That's why people will tune in, because no one
Yeah.
actually knows what to expect.
Morbid curiosity, that's what they call that.
Now, after making that point, this guy's on impulsive, shooting his mouth off. Got a little bit of heat over the thumbnail for the show as well, with that inflated Rhea Ripley ass in the middle of it. Didn't get down too well, but Rhea Ripley made a joke of it and didn't seem too bothered by it, stuff like that, but got a little bit of heat. 85% of our guys don't look like they should be in WWE. Bren.
I think, look, I think all companies have fat that needs to be cut. There's no doubt about it. I think 85% is a bit crazy, and it just depends on who he's referencing as well. You said it earlier on. If there's wrestling's a circus, there's all types of different matches. The perspective he's going for, to me, he's going by a very kind of old way of Vince McMahon kind of thinking. At one stage, Vince McMahon, if you weren't 6'5" and say 300 pounds, he didn't want to look at you. You know what I mean? But to me, I don't know. He probably just said it for the headline. Maybe he does believe it, but I don't agree. I think 85 is a bit much. I could certainly look at the roster and cut it, but 85% is a bit much. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him, and I think if he wasn't on the Impulsive show at one stage, he definitely had that opinion about Logan Paul. 100%. I had that opinion about Logan Paul as well, to be honest, but I was wrong. But no, I don't. It's a bit of a mad statement. I think 85% is a bit much. What do you reckon?
I think, and you guys can take it after me, Sean O and Sean Mack. I think for a guy, if you look at his journey, who's been searching to kind of find himself since his world title reign during the pandemic and stuff like that, and for a guy who previously has been released as well, I thought this was a bit of a kicker, and I thought this was. I don't know whether this was the guy who should be sending this message. I thought this guy would have been. Now, obviously, there's stuff behind this, obviously, as well, you know, but I thought he would have been a guy who's going the other way and speak a bit more positively about things, saying that maybe 15% shouldn't be there out of the 100% or something. But I just found it kind of weird. Now, I know, listen, when you're on the show with Logan Paul and you're spinning a narrative and you're creating an impression and you're trying to continue your character, if you like, and stuff like that. No doubt this guy doesn't truly believe this, because I'm sure he has the height of respect for everyone in WWE. But yeah, it was a little bit strange. Sean Mack?
Yeah, I agree. But part of me thinks that it's him being a heel, because part of his heel character is him being bitter and angry. Really old man yelling at cloud. Now, I don't know if this is him talking about ability, as in, like, if there's a lot of people here who aren't good enough, or if he's talking about shape, as in like physical fitness and fuck.
The chat is on fire tonight. That's all.
Jelly Roll dropped a bunch of weight, so power to Jelly Roll. He's all right. But there has been some of my favorite wrestlers have been a little bigger. Maybe not necessarily like muscles on muscles on muscles. Mick Foley, Sandman, Rikishi, Vader,
Dusty Rhodes,
Dusty Rhodes, especially Dusty Rhodes.
One
You
Man
know,
Gang, Boss
one
Man.
man gang. Yeah, you could go on. We could
Tugboat.
do a whole podcast on wrestlers who were slightly bigger. You know, it helps, but I don't think it's a big defining part of character. Sometimes I think what made ECW so good, I talked about Mick Foley and Sandman. People said that the wrestlers actually looked like people that you'd see on the streets, someone you could relate to. You know, Sandman was a fella drinking beer, normally wearing jeans, had a bit of a bit of a dad bod, a huge dad bod. Tommy Dreamer was wearing t-shirt and trousers. Raven was in decent shape, but he was wearing like a leather jacket with a flannel shirt in the back. So the point is, there's a lot of people who don't wrestlers all look different. Not just wrestlers, people look different. Some people are tall, some people are tiny, some people have huge arms, some people have small arms. It's just how people are made. And I know wrestling, it's not necessarily a body business anymore. There's people who don't look like they can do things who can do great things. For example, Keith Lee was one of these guys who was bigger, and yeah, he could do a Hurricane Rana better than anyone.
Kevin Owens, lads. Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens. Speaking of
phenomenal.
Canada, PCO's 2,000 years old, short of 300 pounds, and he can do moonsaults and dives and everything. So I don't know how much of that is related to body or appearance. Part of me thinks it's just him being a bit angry about everything because that's the character. But he did say Travis Scott was an arsehole who ruined the main event of WrestleMania. So Drew McIntyre gets, I was going to say 2 thumbs up, but I'm holding my microphone, but 1 thumbs up anyway from me.
Sean,
Nearly went a week without mentioning him.
He's around, but for good reasons, because everyone's saying he's shy and he should have never been there. So everyone's on our wavelength now. Sorry, Sean.
You're all right. Yeah, I kind of agree with what Ollie has said. He's one of the lads you'd like to get in the head of and find out, is this part of his heel character or who he's referring to. He's talked about a few lads there who, mightn't look the part, as you would say. And one of the people that come to mind would be Sami Zayn. When I look at the man, he's very good, but when you look at the man, you kind of think he should own a wood chopping company with Daniel Bryan back in his long hair days. Yeah, it's interesting. So it is, yeah, to say the least. James Ellsworth, yeah,
was the WWE locker room later. I heard from Coachman sources.
Coachman, he's always right.
Yeah, no, it's definitely character. Like I know Drew McIntyre. I've spoken to Drew McIntyre loads of times. He's the nicest guy you'll meet and stuff like that. Now, but this is definitely character. But again, it's like the Bischoff thing on Earl Helwani. They have to throw out certain lines that people capture and stuff like that and all, So one of those things. Let's quickly go through. Wanted to mention this because I don't really like when they change belts up and all. But Ethan Page with the Canadian Championship now, and he's being challenged by Santino Marella next week. Sean Mack,
great to see the Italian stallion, Milan Miracle himself, Santino, back in the ring. But this belt is shite. Roman Reigns' legacy belt levels of. I think
not that bad.
MJF did something like this when he was the American champion. He made the belt Americans. That was kind of cool, but like, it's just the colors don't work. The belt's already a bit different in terms of its design. Like the strap design is just straight, like there's no curves or anything. So there really shouldn't be too much. Just one singular colored strap is fine. The white and the red, and the fact that the plate is covering up the maple leaf.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know, a few dashes. I don't know. Just
do a maple leaf spinner or something like that. Be all good.
No, not spinner. My God. I love John Cena, but I cannot believe they kept the spinner for so long, even after he lost it. Like Edge wanted to remove John Cena from the annals of history, but still kept the belt with the spinner on it. I don't know, but I'm more interested in Santino coming back than I am with the belt. But then the thing is, we all hate Ethan Page. We all love this belt. he's making this belt look like a piece of shit that only he will
Genius.
have. So we want him. We want someone to lose it and take it back and make the North American title again. So in that case, I think it works. But yeah, I'm not crazy. I won't be coughing up my student loan to get this on the Euroshop.
No, absolutely not. It's a WCW throwback to Landstorm Canadian Maple Leaf title. There we go.
That was a nice
There you
belt
go.
for this.
Yeah, right. Let's take in some viewing figures here. Talk about the viewing figures quickly, and then we get into some history, and then we're done. Royal Rumble 3 million, Elimination Chamber 1.9, Mania 2.4, 2.8, Backlash 1.5, Money in the Bank 1.6, and Night of Champions 1 million. They're the 5 events or whatever it is this year and what they've been hitting. But they do mention that the metrics, the way they're represented it's represented like that, kind of like a Netflix account counts for one person basically and stuff that. Whereas we know, like, especially in the States, they do a lot of viewing parties and people get together in homes because it's not in an ungodly hour and all this kind of thing. So, like, you could have 10, 12, 15, you could have 20 people sitting in a gaff watching a pay-per-view in a house or on Netflix or whatever it is. So they don't necessarily represent probably what the true number is. This would be the base number, I would imagine. So yeah, but certainly interesting to see those figures.
Until I saw that it wasn't based on people, I was going to say 2 million people watching Mania is quite low, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but I would have thought I'd imagine the move to Netflix and stuff like that has kind of skewed it slightly. Because it's on Netflix, you just call around to your pal's house and you're watching it on Netflix and people get together. I've certainly much more from what I've seen when I'm in the States and all, they do a lot of viewing parties. And like if you're here, let's suppose the Wolf Shed is showing it, you could have 200 people in the Wolf Shed watching a wrestling event and like it counts as one person.
Yeah, because it's one person's Netflix account.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
They're going to bring it back to the cinemas now as well. And when I lived in Vancouver in Canada, and when I lived there, they had all the pay-per-views in the cinema, and it was quality.
That sounds great.
It's absolutely, and a good time as well.
They had some recently. I remember. I think it was Crown Jewel. It was the one with Roman and Brock that was actually quite good. It was like 2-3 years ago, but they had that on, I think, in Cineworld.
100%
in Dublin. Now, obviously, with Netflix, I'm not sure how possible that is. Probably not very. I think AEW are doing it now in America. I think I heard that they're teaming up with Fandango, not the wrestler.
That's WWE.
Movie company. Or is it WWE?
Yeah,
WWE.
So WWE are going to go out into the cinema now. So they're going to start doing that again, and I suppose that skews the numbers even more. Then,
how much do you think a ticket would be? If they have their hand in it, they're going to gouge it.
Well, I don't think so. I think the cinema will be made. The cinema over there will be made pay a fee to WWE, and then
imagine
bigger prices. I would imagine.
Can you imagine booking it, and then the guide sim says, "Okay, and what WWE Slim Jim seat would you like to sit in?"
But yeah, look, for event cinema, you're talking max €35 per ticket, as low as 25. So it'll be between 25 and 35 per ticket, roughly. Look, which isn't bad.
It's obviously easier over there as well because you're on the time frame. Whereas if you're trying to do that over here, you're trying to get a license to open a cinema till 4 or 5 in the morning, which has always been the difficulty in arranging parties over here.
Yeah.
I think years ago they looked at it. I think Joe actually of OTT, looked at it at one stage, trying to do a deal with cinemas to present wrestling in them and stuff like that. No. Yeah, and
would have been great.
Remember when the parties were going on in Captain America's and the Wolf Shed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looking at doing that.
I think it works better for the afternoon shows. Like that show I mentioned being in Cineworld was a Saudi show. So Saudi shows, European shows, UK shows, that'd be fine. I'm not sure how 4 or 5 a.m. at a cinema would work out, but we'd have to see.
Yeah, because up there, I think in Orlando was in the Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh,
time,
there's one. I saw a bit of that.
Undertaker team.
You're walking in a dark corridor and you hear a fiend.
Drew wins with Travis Scott comment. He was defo in full heel mode with most of the stuff he said. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Netflix, give me the VHS days back.
walking into movie magic.
That can
with
be
all these things,
that can be arranged. Don't worry about that. That can be arranged.
even with Netflix and watch parties and cinemas and all this, nothing beats a physical copy of a pay-per-view in your hand, whether that be a DVD, a VHS.
Like yourself, Sean, I have a collection of the DVDs. I remember one of the best DVDs I ever bought was actually in Wrestling Mania. It was in your shop, Niall. It was the WrestleMania 20 special edition, right? And this is a 3-disc edition, and the case was beautiful, and you can't get it anywhere anymore.
I think I have it.
Well,
yeah, I have Mania 20 and it's 3 discs. I don't think there's anything special about those, just a standard release.
The documentary for 19.
Yeah, the third disc is the best of Mania of WrestleMania.
That was incredible.
Awesome. About Lesnar and Kurt Angle and all, yeah, it's incredible. Talks about Rock and Austin as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's brilliant. But the beauty of the wrestling physical media DVDs is that you have it in the original presentation as it was back then, as opposed to what they can do and how they edit it and how they slice it. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Divas Uncensored. And the other thing about these wrestling DVDs is Netflix has a great selection of WWE stuff, but there's some stuff they don't have. So can you imagine looking through something? I want to watch, I think, ECW One Night Stand 2005, and Netflix have it. But let's say, oh, it's not on Netflix. No, I can't watch the show. Whip out the DVD. It's there. You can watch it whenever. Just to go back on MTV, Girls Go Wild. That's not said enough. I have SummerSlam 2002 on DVD, probably the best SummerSlam ever. But DVDs, this is for the younger viewers, used to have ads at the start, a bit like WWE now, actually.
That's right.
And one of them was for a DVD called Divas Uncensored.
That's right.
And it was Jerry Lawler, of course, doing like the commentary all above it. Like,
what was the other one? He had Divas and Hedonism.
Yeah,
Divas and Hedonism and all that kind of stuff.
All your favorite divas, sing off all their fantasies.
I actually have one put away for you, Sean. Actually, next time you come in, I found it out back.
Thanks, because I was thinking of buying it for the crack, but I wasn't sure. I couldn't handle the shame of handing it to a cashier. I couldn't handle the shame of having it online. So the guy selling it goes, Sean McKiernan. Okay.
I'll give you a quick story from WrestleMania 22. We were staying in a hotel in downtown Chicago, our first hotel before we moved to the WWE one, because we were there a couple of days early. So we went over. There was a Tower Records across the road and a liquor store and all that kind of stuff. We went into the Tower Records, and of course they have a huge selection of pornographic material. Let's say, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And one of the lads decided to buy one, and he went up to the counter, and of course there was a queue. And he went up to the counter, and your man says, any ID, please, because they ID'd you then for that stuff. And he had no ID with him, and he was mortified, but it was so sad, you know. I was actually standing there, and I was in another world, and one of the lads handed me a DVD, and it was Chicks with Dicks or something.
Oh, Jesus. Which one?
Was that because it was R-rated, or is that just?
I think it was 5. I seen the first 4.
Quality.
Sequel's not as good.
Little story from WrestleMania 22. We did have some fun.
Big
Quick bit of history and some interesting birthdays coming your way. First of all, 1984. 2 men I am really big fans of. Tully Blanchard defeated Magnum TA in Charlotte, North Carolina to win the NWA United States Championship. Magnum TA, who we've had on the show, legend. 2005, we lost Lord Alfred Hayes, man from the 80s and early 90s, passed away at 76 after multiple strokes. Of course, we remember Lord Alfred Hayes. 2002, on WWE Raw from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the Raw general manager Eric Bischoff introduced Triple H to the red brand and named Shawn Michaels as Triple H's manager. Later on the show, an impromptu DX reunion was short-lived, of course, when Triple H turned in heel and Michaels and attacked him with a pedigree. 1989, the very first Great American Bash WCW pay-per-view took place in Baltimore, Maryland. In the main event, Ric Flair retained the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Terry Funk. Remember it well. 2006, Rey Mysterio's 3-month World Heavyweight Championship reign came to an end when King Booker defeated Mysterio for the title in the main event of WWE's Great American Bash in Indianapolis, when Chavo Guerrero turned on Mysterio. And you remember that storyline, of course, Chavo talking about him living off Eddie's name and all this kind of thing. They went real deep with it.
Yeah, Chavo Guerrero saying that. Telling great
2000,
story.
yeah. 2012, the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw broadcast live from St. Louis in Missouri. And the 3-hour permanent format of the show started from this Hallmark edition, which was seen by 6 million viewers in the USA. In the main event, John Cena cashed in his Money in the Bank contract against WWE Champion CM Punk. Cena won by disqualification after outside interference from the Big Show. At the conclusion of the show, The Rock intervened and was attacked by Punk, who turned heel. Also on the show, The Miz defeated Christian for the Intercontinental Championship. The wedding segment between AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan ended with Lee walking out on Bryan after being named as the new Raw general manager by Mr. McMahon. And Triple H challenged Brock Lesnar to a match at SummerSlam.
Oh my God.
Bit
of sad trivia for you. Up until that point, John Cena was the first person to ever fail a Money in the Bank cash-in. Another gem I saw recently, the ad for that they broadcast on USA, it shows Vince on the phone, and then he sees John Cena wearing headphones. He goes, "Oh, John, just to let you know, Raw starts at 8." And then everyone hears something else that rhymes with that. So like Big Show's like, "Who has cake?" And then like, "Oh, I have to be late." And then it ends with Triple H coming in saying, "Hey boss, here's Callie. Here, check your prostate." And you see Vince look. Incredible.
Right, some notable birthdays, and we've quite a mix this week. Starting off, one, Hangman Adam Page, 1991, celebrates his birthday this week. Along with 1984, the Beast himself, Dave Mastiff, celebrates his birthday this week as well. The most technical wrestler probably on the planet in recent times anyway. 1987, Zack Sabre Jr. 1970, Sean Stasiak. 1937, the great Hiro Matsuda. 1987, the man with the moves, Fandango. 1987 as well, Thunder Rosa. And of course, 1958 celebrates his birthday this week, the legend that is David Von Erich. And of course, we rounded out with 1965, one of the greatest performers ever, who turned 60 yesterday. The Heartbreak Kid, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels.
That's mad. When you said that to me yesterday, it ran through my head that I've literally watched him at every decade. Late 80s, 90s. I've watched him every single decade. Wow. Astonishing.
Where are we? Let's take some comments and then we're out of here. Best DVD I bought. Oh, yeah, we went through that one. What's the crack? Big up, Daz. Hope you're good. I think Daz is in Dublin tomorrow. You wouldn't steal a car or bag.
Oh my God.
Those ads were brilliant.
And you want to know the best thing about that? The company that made that ad didn't have the permission to use the music they used and they got sued.
Yeah, that's right.
Tremendous.
So you wouldn't steal a car, but you would steal.
Remember they used to come up with the FBI crest and all, like
yeah.
And people would look where the FBI is going to kick down my door. Was it
they came up on the pirate DVDs?
Was it Sunny Side? Love it. It was. Who do you think Seth cashes in on when he's back? He's going to cash in probably next week. Wow. Or Gunther. I bet Goldberg has Bret Hart's Lonesome Dove movie on 4K.
What a movie.
Can you imagine? Definitely Punk or Gunther, as Rock is going to screw Cena in the end. Yeah, big talk that Rock's going to have a match with Cena and Cody finally sells his soul to the devil.
Rock's not going to show up.
Heartbreak, no hairline. Yeah, the half-ball kid. There we go.
The ball guy kid.
There you go. That's it, folks. Another show in the bag. Quite along with this time. 143 we did tonight. We'd love to get through with Ozzy and all, and then some lad hijacked the show at the start there talking about
I would be happy if he never came back. I don't know who he is. We've got to find him.
Yeah.
Bubba Ray, me too.
Yeah, hate him.
20 minutes in hell.
Yeah.
He likes that, the half ball kid. There we go.
Devon, get the moderators.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, until next time, justice for the Dudleys. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. Don't unsubscribe. We do like ECW. We do like the Dudleys.
Yeah, I love ECW and the Dudley Boys.
But until next time, we will be back next week. Don't forget, folks, check out the channel as well over the next couple of days as well. We may be doing a watch along next weekend. both nights. So information will be up there in the channel. Keep an eye. Make sure you have that notification bell hit so you know. But until next time, have a great week. Cheers, lads.
See you later.
Thanks as always. Catch you soon.